Welcome to episode 3 of the Muay Thai Experience. My name is Ali McConey, and today I have the owner and founder of one of the best Muay Thai pages online, Muay Thai Results, operated by my good friend Kevin Amlid. Kevin works tirelessly to bridge the gap between Thailand and the rest of the world to make sure Muay Thai fans are kept up to date with the latest bout cards, results and Muay Thai news on a daily basis. If you haven't done so already, give Muay Thai Results a follow on Instagram, click the link in the description. Also a quick shout out to the Sportsman, where we are hosting the podcast today. If you want to watch live sports, whether it be football, boxing, UFC, basketball, etc., or fancy a few games of pool and some Western food, the Sportsman has you covered. Check out the Sportsman on Sukhumvit 13 in Bangkok. The address will be linked in this episode's description.
Hope my best man speech is that good.
What an intro. Well, without further ado, hello mate.
Good, it's about time.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this.
I mean, we've put this off for I don't know how long now. I mean, we talk about it for maybe 2 months now, I think. Well, I'm finally here.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to get you on because I think
even before I moved to Bangkok, even, you know, yeah, we've been talking about it, and now that I'm here, things are much more, it's easier anyways to get me on.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like what I said in the intro, your page has just been a crutch for not just me, but for so many people around the world.
Yeah, I'm really glad with that because that was the point of the page to begin with. I just kicked right into when it started with Muay Thai Results. It's just me living in Norway, quite bored, wasn't really able to. It's the best way to put it, follow the sport, and I imagine a lot of people have the same problem. And to make it worse for them, at least it's. You know, my page, I made it in English just so people could follow it more easier. And the only news that you really get, especially with 5 rounds Muay Thai, was in Thai, you know. So just trying to make it more easier, you know, that people just scroll and just sort of, you know, find the results that they want, or just want to follow Muay Thai. That's about it, yeah.
Just going all the way back, so because a lot of people don't really know this about you. You're half Thai, half Norwegian.
That's right.
And you grew up in Thailand, right?
That's right. I've only stayed in Norway for about 7 years to do my bachelor's and master's. Took longer than expected, but nevertheless, I was there for, just 7 years, and then after that, decided to move back to Thailand again. But yeah, most of my life has been in Pattaya.
Which is quite interesting. What was it like growing up? Because you didn't really grow up, you grew up in Pattaya, but you also spent some time in Udon, right, with your grandpa.
When I was very, very young, yes.
Yeah.
The sad part of that is that I don't recollect most of the time when I was in Udon, but you know, as everyone kept saying, yes, I did spend time there, but do I know any East Thailand language? Nah. No. So most of what I remember is definitely from Pattaya during my childhood.
Well, what was it like growing up in Pattaya? Like, what was it?
Just felt like any other city, you know. I mean, you know how Pattaya has that reputation of being that bar city where you could find ladies anywhere. I didn't know about this until maybe I was in my teens. I don't know, maybe because of where I grew up in Pattaya itself. I grew up in Jomtien, and where I went to school, etc., etc. So it was just like any other city to me until I sort of went abroad. And then I told people where I was from, and they had a look in their face. You get what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't exactly, you know, I wasn't expecting it to be that amazing to be there. Even nowadays, people would ask me, look, I live in Pattaya, but I want to have a child. Is Pattaya a good place to grow up my kids? Yeah, 100%. Just make sure you raise them right, and you'll be fine. You know, I mean, I didn't even know any of this bar stuff until I was in my teens, perhaps, or maybe lying there, maybe my early teens. Because another thing is, I didn't exactly live in the middle of Pattaya, but of course, we went there often. Back then, I'd say Pattaya wasn't as developed as it is today. If you lived in Jomtien, you wouldn't really have any of those international restaurants. And growing up in a mixed-race family, my dad would like to eat more European-style food. Yes. As for mom, she would like to eat more of the Thai food. So when we wanted these European-type food, you'd have to go into Pattaya. Nowadays, you could get as much international food as you want in Jomtien. So I don't really go into the Pattaya city itself these days.
But I also think when you were growing up, because you're only a couple of years younger than me, like social media technology isn't what it is like now.
No.
Compared to what it was back then. People I didn't have an iPad and an iPhone growing up, and the Instagram wasn't a big thing. So you're not going to find out about these things very easily. So
of course, back then it was Muay Thai 2000s. That's where you get all your stuff from. And back then, when I was in high school, the first social media page I've ever had was Bebo, if you remember that one.
Yeah. I remember Bebo.
Yeah. But
oh my God.
But the Thais, they would have High Five.
What is High Five like?
Basically a social media page just like Facebook.
Oh, okay. So it's basically a rip-off of Facebook for Thais.
But the Thais use that for it. I wouldn't say it's a rip-off of Facebook, or probably a rip-off of MySpace. Okay. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, but I was using Bebo, and later on everyone just started using Facebook. So that's where all the Muay Thai news started to end up.
But when do you remember? Because obviously we talk a lot. Not a lot of people know this, but we talk a lot. We talk every day.
Of course.
It's always about Muay Thai.
Yeah, it's usually Muay Thai, and then it's how are you? Not how are you, then it's Muay Thai.
Yeah. which is quite unique, really. I think we'd everything is always about Muay Thai. But do you remember when you first got into the sport, or when you first started watching it?
You know, in the beginning, I've always thought the term boxing, that was Muay Thai itself. Mm-hmm. You know, so I didn't really think much of it. So I wouldn't know when I started watching it, if you know what I mean. But the oldest memory I have is actually watching with my dad, you know, and taking a few people out to go watch the local Muay Thai scene. Later on, of course, I realized, okay, there's a difference between boxing and Muay Thai. So if you ask me, I don't quite remember when I started watching it, but I do remember, of course, Bokal being big back then, and then, of course, I remember Under Wat Gao Samrit. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I really started watching it until Yot Sankla actually won the Contender series.
Okay.
What it was is that because my mom had a membership at Fairtex at the time, where she would go play badminton. So then, of course, she would see some of the fighters, and of course, the biggest name there was Yot Sankla. Mm-hmm. And another one of my friends, he would also watch it as well. So one thing led to another. And the first place I ever trained Muay Thai was actually Fairtex in Pattaya. Yeah, I love to go back every now and then. And of course, I remember Yot Sankla, you know, being the winner. Besides for Bokal being such a big name at the time, I think my first Muay Thai hero, besides Bokal and Anna, was probably Yot Sankla.
Okay.
Most definitely.
And he's from Fairtex, still is, and was a really big gym in Pattaya at the time.
Oh yes. Yeah. It was quite an interesting time. You know, at the time they had Naroko there. At the time they had Yot Sankla. They had Gao, of course. And then, but as time went on, I remember at one point, Yot Sankla was probably the only big name fighter who was actually still fighting there. That now you see how big they are again, you know. So it's quite interesting to see Fairtex over the years.
Yeah, because they've got massive now, and they've got, you know, Stamp, Rotan trains out of there. They've got Compet,
of course,
that they bought from Sitsao Rotser and two of his stable mates.
Yeah, same up here. You know, the names are endless. Let's put it that way.
Okay, and then did you fight much at all?
Not that much, no.
No.
I wasn't very good. That's one way to put it. I've only been in the Pattaya area, so to speak. But then it was when I had my last bout, then I decided, okay, there's no way I'm going to continue with this, and that's when I decided, okay, just go to Norway, do my masters, do my bachelor's. Got that in the opposite direction, but yeah, bachelor's and masters, and then got back to town. But it was that time where I decided to stay in Norway, or whilst I was in Norway, excuse me, where I decided to make the Muay Thai page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the good thing is you got in there and you gave it a go.
Yeah, and it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it does. Well,
because the first thing when you fight, you think about, especially as a novice at the time, you think you go in there and you try to strike as much as possible. You don't even think about the clinching. I would say when I first started, I didn't know the game itself. You'd watch it every now and then. You watch the big names on TV, but you don't really know how to fight Muay Thai, and that's a lot of the problems that a lot of people starting off would have, and also people coming from abroad. You know, you almost picture like a kickboxing sort of fight in your head, but once you get clinched up or something like that, you don't really know what to do.
But because me and you, like, we both have parents that have their own businesses, that work. My mum and dad were really against it when I started doing Muay Thai. Funny thing is, my mum and dad thought that when I went to Shinkik, when I went to Jesse's gym, that was basically another version of Fight Club, the movie. Right. Was there a bit of a pushback? Was there a bit of like, were your mum and dad not really too keen on you doing Muay Thai at all? Or?
No, I was fighting behind their backs.
Oh, okay, so you keep it a secret.
Yeah, there was only one fight that my dad actually seen, and I got knocked out that time. So then it was not great at the time. But then again, it's one of those things I can look back and say, well, at least you
tried it.
You gave it a go, and it's just not where I belonged, and I sort of knew that early on. So I'm quite happy about that. But once you get into the ring, you appreciate, the athletes who actually do get into the ring. You actually appreciate them a lot more. So my opinion is maybe it's not for everyone, but at least try it. If you're a Muay Thai fan, just give it a go. Of course, in Thailand we don't have the whole D class, C class thing,
Not anymore, which is sad, isn't it? Because the shows that you're talking about are the same ones that I did when I first went to Kiev on Tip. The little Muay Watch shows that you go to and you rock up and you don't know where you are on the card. You could they could move you forward, they could push you back. You could be fighting at 9 o'clock at night. You could be fighting at 1 in the morning. Yeah,
there was a card where I was like first on the card, and next thing you know, I was close to last. In fact, just give it a go, I'd say. Just get in there, try it, and then you sort of appreciate what other people do,
Just touching on that, because you are probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know about the sport, and a lot of people probably don't get this, but you speak Thai really, really well, almost really fluently.
Yeah, not 100%, but it's better than normal. It's better than average, I put it that way.
Which is really good. Which is good because I know a lot of Lakrung. So Lakrung, for people that are listening, is basically a Thai person with nationality, and then they're foreigner as well. So you're a Lakrung because you're
basically a mixed race. That's what they call Lakrungs in Thailand. Yeah.
But I've met a lot of Lakrungs out here that can't speak Thai like you. And your household, everybody speaks English.
Right. Yeah. I'll explain that why. Because my mum doesn't speak Norwegian, dad doesn't speak Thai, so English is in the middle. That's why this all came out. Let's put it that way.
But learning Thai as you're growing up, were you speaking to your mom, or were you how did you?
When it comes to the language, it was just basically because family members are around, and of course living in Thailand, you use it every single day. So that was never an issue. But I went to international school, so the issue was the reading and writing. That was the main issue. But we only had Thai class maybe twice a week or something like that, and we just messed about in them. You get what I mean? It wasn't a class anyone took seriously. Wish I did, looking back, but then later on, you sort of, you don't think about it too much,
No.
But we only messed about in those classes, and once I got into after I finished my GCSEs, then that's when I completely stopped Thai classes, completely, and what really helps me with the reading and writing is actually Muay Thai itself.
Yes.
So I'd say because the speaking, that was not an issue, but the reading and writing definitely was. And for those who are trying to learn how to read or write, just find something you're passionate about. Once you got the speaking part of the way, I believe the reading and writing will come once you start getting into something, especially when it has to do with the Thai language. It will help you a lot, and a lot for Muay Thai. It's really only accessible in Thai, especially the news you see like in Muay Siam or Muay.com or Muay Thai Macau. Of course, they didn't exist back then, but Muay Thai 2000, that was the one back then where it really helped me to read and write. I'd say,
Yeah, because like you said, you need it for doing your results, because pretty much what you do is you're taking everything that all these pages are putting up and translating it for everybody. Let's touch on that, because this is what I really want to get into. I don't think everyone really appreciates how much time, because obviously I've spent a lot of time with you, and I see...
And you've done results for me one time as well, I remember that.
Yeah. And it's not fucking easy. And
it really isn't.
You're literally writing everything out, and you're doing this on... Can you talk us through how long it would take? Let's say, for example, the RWS card last night. Or do you get all of that in Thai?
RWS do post it in English, but at the same time, sometimes I don't agree. I wouldn't say I wouldn't agree, but the translations that they do in English, sometimes it just doesn't read right in my head.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So when it comes to the Thai fighters, then I definitely do it from Thai to English directly. It could be just small spelling things, and I just do whatever it sounds better for me in my own head, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
When it comes to the foreign fighters, then I definitely take a look at the English card. But some fighters, as you know, and this is not just one show, but there's a lot of shows. Sometimes their spelling the spelling of their names isn't right, and then you go and you have to go on Instagram, and then you check out, okay, can I find this guy's name? Nah, I can't. Maybe I try Facebook, and then you think, oh, which gym does he train at? And then you go to that gym and you try to find his actual name and him or her, but it could be a long process trying to find exactly who that person is. Like I could name one person already, which I could never remember the name of, Petnung, Petsam, Petsam, right?
Okay.
From Pet Muay Thai, the young French lads.
Yes.
Yeah, he's fighting at Channel 7 today, actually, one time recording. I don't know their real names, because I just don't see it anywhere online, so I just keep it that way. Okay, Petnung, Pet Muay Thai, then okay, just put the French flag there so people know who it might be.
But just touching on the names in particular, you go to great lengths to that, which I don't think a lot of people appreciate that follow your page. Like, you actually contact people directly, and you've spoken to me a couple of times. If I know people at gyms,
I do
speak to gyms. So it's all of the little details for one post. How long does it, on average, take you?
It just depends, because what people might not know, it's especially on Thai shows, for example, if it's a Palang Mai show or a Kid Pet show, sometimes a Pet Yindi show, of course. You have the names of this foreign fighter, but it's written in Thai. So sometimes it's really difficult, and I have to say, I'll be honest with you guys, just looking in front of the camera in case someone's watching, I struggle with the Iranian names, all right? Whenever you guys fight on one of the Salsa Mai shows, Kid Pet shows, what have you, like the World Stadium shows on Saturdays, you see this Iranian name, like sometimes you see Amir, Amrad, or something like that, but then it's spelled differently, you get what I mean? And I'm not quite sure how to spell it. Japanese are the exact same. I struggled with one that was fighting on the Pet Yindi show. I think it was his 5th bout on Thursday. Homuro or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know what his real name. I tried to ask. Names escape me now. Uses Warwan Chai as his gym name.
Warwan Chai.
Yeah. The Japanese fighter, right?
Kaito
Warwan Chai, right? I asked him as well, because the other lad was using Warwan Chai as well, and I said, "Do you know how to spell his name in English, or do you know his Instagram page?" He says, "I don't know." It's like, okay, fair enough. Then I'll just put it down as whatever it sounds right to me in my head.
Okay, so let's. For like a shorter card, so for like Omnoi, for example, that's all in Thai. How long would that take you roughly?
Okay, so you're talking about the timing. If I know everyone on the card, then maybe less than 10 minutes.
Okay, so not too bad then.
5 minutes maybe, especially when I know everyone. The only thing I really stumble on is right now, it's just when I see a foreigner's name written in Thai, then that's where I struggle. Like, you remember your friend Alec, Enright? Yeah, I didn't know his last name was Enright. I didn't even know Alec was spelled with a C. Of course, first thing you see when you see that name, you think, oh, it's definitely Alex. But turns out there's a lot more Alex in Muay Thai than I thought. There's Alec training in Yod Yod. There's an Alec at Jit Mung Non. Now there's an Alec at PK. I didn't even know that was a common name. Only because of Muay Thai. I've never met anyone called Alec before this, Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was fighting on the 5th bout, 6th bout, and I would show you the fight card, but I wouldn't. But I would only show the televised bouts as the results.
Because when Alec fought there, because he's bout 5 and 6 at Omnoi. This was every time I've cornered him there. This has always been a struggle having to get somebody to record his fight.
Of course,
everyone from PK is like, yeah, don't worry, they're going to record it, and then the camera crew is just packing up after the fight and just.
No, they usually do it on the balconies up there at Omnoi. If you remember, they do record it. It's on sometimes on YouTube and sometimes on Facebook.
Okay.
But it's usually on there. Now, the reason why I put in the full fight card and then only show 4 fights later on the results is because when it comes to the full fight, that's just how the Thais do it on their page, So, for example, they'll show the full fight card. This is fighting in Omnoi, and then later on, they only show the 4 results, the televised bouts. So that's why I just leave it at that. So that's why. But I do that for most shows, I think.
I think it's a daily grind though for you.
Oh, it is.
And the weekends are your most busiest time.
Saturdays. Wow. What do you got first? You got Fairtex fight. Then you go right into CM Omnoi. Then you go to Otoko, the Jit Monon shows. And then you got Siam, World Siam Stadium, the Chang Kit Pit Muay Thai show. After that, you've got LWC Super Champ.
Yeah.
Then you've got RWS. And I used to do the Pit Bancha Saturday shows too. But I just decided not to, just because it's just not televised. And when it was televised on T-Sport 7, I mean, I was doing it. But then later on, you see, I mean, the quality of the main event may be a little bit different from what it used to be.
Yeah.
So then that's why I just sort of, maybe I just concentrated on the Bangkok shows.
Well, that kind of show, it started off really well.
It did.
And then just sort of started to drop a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure the Muay Thai is still fun either way. But then again, I'm sure people from, across the ocean or what have you would prefer to follow, what's actually big in Thailand,
And then just going off on another career path that you're doing at the moment with me every Saturday, you started commentating. How do you want to talk us a little bit about that, how your commentary journey started?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I actually started once I finished my master's, believe it or not. But before that, I was training at Sansuk Gym, or I still do to this day, Sansuk Gym in Pattaya with Kruot, and you've been there quite a few times.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely love that place.
Give it a shout out.
Exactly.
Sansuk in Pattaya.
If you're in Pattaya, Sansuk is the place to be. And I'm sure many other gyms, but yeah, Sansuk is the one I recommend. And of course, during that time, Max Muay Thai was quite big in Thailand. Maybe not in terms of the fighters' quality, but in terms of the viewership. I mean, Max Muay Thai was really up there during that time. And they had shows every single day of the week. And during that time, one of the commentators who was there, John Walcott, he was training at Sansuk Gym. And we talked quite a few times, because when I was living in Norway, I came back every now and then, and I was always training at Sansuk. And of course, me and John got talking, and then he heard about my page. One thing led to another. When I graduated, he asked if I wanted to try commentating in Max Muay Thai. I said definitely. So first person I was contacted was Rob Cox, and first meeting we had was in I think it was a Starbucks, in I think it's called Little Town, something like that. I can't remember what the name of the place was, but it's next to the Sukhumvit Road in Pattaya. Then we just talked, see how it is. I remember Rob saying, well, and if you're not that, if it's not for you, we'll just tell you, okay, leave, and then it's just a professional thing, whatever it is. Okay, not going to let anyone down. I believe it was a global fight show. It was on a Wednesday night, and after the main event, they would have 2 more fights. So those were the fights that he got me trying out first. Now, when I went there, you overthink these things, especially if it's your first time doing this job. And then when I sat down there, I was sitting next to Rob Cox. I'm like, gee, like everyone knows who you are. I'm a nobody. Whilst the match is going on, my hands are like this, I'm just shaking a lot. And I didn't say anything until one thing happened in that match, and that was a knockout. And out of nowhere, I went, "Oh my goodness!" that's when I just started talking. And of course, nothing was great yet, but the same sort of thing happened in the next match, and I got talking a little bit more. So it just started getting better and better from there. And at one point, I started going to Max Muay Thai almost every single day of the week. And believe me, I had a good time there, even though, you have that thing for your parents where they say, hey, you got to get a better, a proper job.
Yeah. See, this is the same thing that I
exactly.
had. They were like to me, when are you going to do something, when are you going to get a real job?
Exactly.
Go get a mortgage, get a career. And I was like, I kind of like this. And
exactly. But the thing is, what people don't know is that if you have a master's, it's a lot more harder to get a job than if you just have a bachelor's. So I've been trying to apply for a long time, and at one point, even though I loved going to Max Muay Thai, but you have that pressure from your family, and then I sort of quit Max Muay Thai for a very short time. And then I think that's when you came into Max Muay Thai at that time. Yeah.
Well, because I ended up coming as soon as you had to leave, pretty much, and then we ended up working together.
Yeah, anyway. I had to come back. I couldn't find that job, and the money was running out quite fast. And so then just kept going Max Muay Thai until eventually. Yeah, the saddest thing was having to shut down because of the whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
But really, I had a really good time at Max Muay Thai.
I think Max was great for us because
it was fantastic.
It was awesome because we got fights like you said, almost every day of the week. I was working 4 days a week. I think you were everywhere. You were on.
Exactly.
You worked every single show pretty much.
Yeah,
well, not every day, but you did every. The global fight. You did the one on the Friday. You did the champion.
I've done every show basically.
Yeah.
Whatever order it came in didn't matter. I just enjoyed every show every single time. And even when I wasn't working that night, I just loved to come watch it because. Some people may not know, Max Muay Thai had his own thing back then. The fighters would always fight there, and they would build up their own stars, I mean, I remember being a huge fan of Peching Chai, the fellow with the lipstick,
Yes.
Barbier, I enjoyed watching. Brocknick, if you remember that one.
I think, the Cambodian kid, the really tiny one.
He just came into my mind now because he actually just added me on Facebook just a week ago. So
okay,
that was really weird. Of course, Tuntera, China, those were some really strong fighters.
But also,
Rod Tang's been there too, eh?
yeah, Rod Tang fought there.
That was before my time actually.
Pet Saman, Saw Saman Garment, he's fought there as well.
Yes,
right?
he was called New Sanchai that time. New Sanchai, Saw Saman Garment. And then I think that name had to change eventually,
But Crew Ots, so the gym that you're affiliated with in Pattaya,
of course,
all of his fighters fought at Max as well. So a few of your training buddies would be fighting.
Yeah, it was a great deal. Of course, you had Kendall there. Hinch I enjoyed to watch a lot. It's a lot of people.
Muay.
Of course, Muay was. Was he on the televised? Yeah, he was on the televised show.
I don't think he got to televise.
He did. It was before the pandemic.
During the week. During the week.
Yeah, but not the weekend shows. And then that's just a lot of people. Luchai was another good fighter there. I remember him fighting one of Matthias' fight, and some people may not know, but me and Matthias we're good friends. He grew up in Pattaya too. I grew up in Pattaya, and then one of his fighters taking on one of the fighters in Sansuk. His name was Luchai. I can't remember, unfortunately, the person who was fighting for Matthias' gym. Then of course sometimes we have a talk, and then Matthias said, "Who is even this guy?" I don't even know. And then I just said, "I'm not saying anything at all." There's a time for friendship, and there's time for matches, And at the end of the fight, of course, we could tell Luchai was a lot more experienced. His kicks were are unbelievable, and he's fought on the undercard shows at Rangsit and at Lumpini before. So he had a big name.
Yeah.
So afterwards, Matthias was like, he's pretty good, isn't he? He's like, yeah, he's pretty good.
all of Crew Ots fighters are good, really.
Kendall, of course, who's training out of Bali MMA at the moment. It was really awesome to get to know Kendall because in the beginning you didn't see that motivation from him in the beginning, But later on, when he started winning global fight titles there, when he started winning just matches at Max Muay Thai, and he started getting, the pay started going up, his name started getting out there, then he started staying there, and you can see how much more disciplined of a fighter he became, So it's nice to see.
But one fighter that Crew Ot really helps get his gym on the map was Fabrice Delano, that's right, Fabrice. 2 silver belts and 1 gold belt. Yeah.
Should have been, I'm sorry to say, but it should have been 2 gold belts, but that's how Muay Thai is.
But so for the people that didn't know, back in the Max days, that's the global belt, silver belt. Talk us through those tournaments, because they kind of put Max on the map.
Yeah, that was the thing that really put Max on the map. I mean, but at the beginning, Max Muay Thai started off as another sort of Thai fight top king-ish kind of show where they would do shows not at one place, but what Thai fight did, travel around. Then later on, I think Rob will know this better, but then it was eventually they settled Asiatique for some time.
Yes.
And then they did shows in Pattaya Boxing World. I think that was under new ownership by that time. And then that was just waiting for the stadium in Pattaya to finish. And once it was completed, then that's our sort of era of Max Muay Thai,
Yeah, I mean, my era of it has really been since 2017, since I started fighting. Yeah, and then I knew about it, because obviously, following the sport and stuff, I knew about it. I knew about Max. And you had the likes of Enrico Kell fighting Burkow on it.
Yeah, I mean, that was before the current ownership, I believe it was. Yeah.
And then Victor Nagby fought.
Yes.
Well, the guy from Giat, the tall one, but not. His name escapes me.
Escapes me too right now.
He was really good. Channel 7 champion, Muay Thai fighter. Sagadao.
There we go.
Sagadao Pattaya. He fought Victor Nagby in the final. I remember that. And also because I remember Victor beat Fabio Pinca.
No, he was a great fighter. Sagadao. Really enjoyed watching, but it wasn't my time yet. But he was a silver belt and gold belt, I believe, as well.
I think so. Yeah.
But then despite the new ownership, the previous owner, he started Top King after that, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then under the new ownership, it was just based in Pattaya. And then of course they had the big shows sometimes called the Max Muay Thai Mega. I think that was 3 times they did it. Once in Praia, another one in Chiang Mai, I believe it was, and one in Udon Thani. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong with the Chiang Mai one. I bet Praia for sure. Praia, one of those two.
The first ever Max show, I think it was in Surin or Khon Kaen, or at least I
believe it was Surin because Borkow might have been on the show.
Yeah.
But I was there for the second one. I remember that one very well. I was actually in Pattaya Boxing World in Pattaya, and I remember that because I actually got a photo of Borkow that day. He was not happy about that, no.
Yeah,
he was watching one of his fighters, and it's just sort of went, hey! You can imagine how annoying that is, but when you're young, you sort of want to just get that photo.
But honestly, that is, for me, one of his biggest downfalls is he's not very fan-friendly. He doesn't like taking pictures with people.
I didn't know that.
I've
only taken a photo with him once, but yes, I've heard things from other people, and I've heard different views, of course. But you get that with famous people. I would say I
think Burkow is the only Thai fighter. I mean, I've met Sanchai, see Tawanchai regularly at PK.
Yeah.
Who else? I'm trying to think now. I can't think of any Muay Thai fighter, whether it's Thai or foreign. I mean, we met Kelvin Gastelum last night at
really awesome.
Stadium when we were working on LWC Super.
Brilliant fella.
And he was he was more than happy to have a little chat with us. And it took him 2 minutes to take a picture of us and give us a picture as fans.
Yeah, and he just loved it. He would ask for your name first thing. After you shake hands, he'd ask for your name. That's the first thing he asks about. So, no, great guy. And but most of the people in the Muay Thai scene, quite friendly, right? I mean, when it comes to fighters, it's very approachable. They might feel a little bit awkward, because look, I'm no superstar. Why you take a photo of me? But then at the same time, they're more than happy to take photos. Most of the people.
It's more Thai nature, wouldn't you say? A lot of Thais are really shy when you first meet them. They're very standoffish. Mm-hmm. Like I've heard from friends that Pampayak is really shy, deadly shy apparently around.
I'm not sure because when I talked to him, he was more than happy to take a photo, have a chat and all that. I thought he was one of the most kindest fighters I've talked to then. I've never had a bad experience actually when asked to take a photo. No,
I don't mean as in taking photos. I mean when you meet them for the first time. They're very.
I'm pretty sure it's the whole language barrier thing. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of which, I think Thaksin Liss got good English, so.
I wonder why.
I thought he was.
He actually trained at Kiat Von Tip for a while.
Did he?
Well, because the gym that he's a part of, or he was a part of in Salaya, where Kiat Von Tip is.
Was it Gitfala Kid? No,
probably.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but funny enough, what they would do is they train in the morning, and they'd come to Kiat Von Tip for extra training, for extra sparring, extra clinching, and they just bring a van full of Thais, and they just come and clinch and spar with us.
It's very normal. Yeah, it's very normal in Thailand, and I do appreciate that. When gyms work together and then they sort of train with each other. Like for example, Salsa Mai and Sajal Bishop, they were working together constantly. They were in the same sort of network. If you get what I mean.
But talk about that, because a lot of people wouldn't understand that. Because for people that don't know, so Saw Samai is originally where Seksan came from, and that's in eastern Bangkok.
Yeah, never been there myself, but yeah.
Well, it's a really hard. There's lots of traffic there, really difficult.
Yeah, I had one look on Google Maps and I thought, that's not happening.
It's a mission. And then Sorjul Vichit Vadril is in a province called Chachang Sao, which is almost it's to the east of the country as well, right? So what do you mean by network, and how does that work? How does that benefit?
In Thai, they use the word kua, right, or kua or something like that, and then it's just that they just got this network where you sort of train fighters together. I mean, that fighter could maybe train there. That we'll look after this fighter, blah blah blah. That's from how I understand it, anyways. Because I remember, it was one of the whole poisoning topics. You get what I mean when fighters got poisoned. Fighters are making their way from Sochao Vishabali and they're going to Sosomai, and then they stopped off at a restaurant, and then they think that's where they might have got poisoned on the way there. So that's just how I remember the term being used. But yeah, they would train there just because you have more sparring partners, you have more fighters, and that's about it, really.
Help each other out.
Yeah, help each other out.
But do you know what the gyms get out of it? So
I have no idea.
No idea.
No idea. I'm sure it's different from all gyms, but I'm sure fighters get out a lot. So I think that's what matters at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because it happens a lot at PK. Because you'll get, I think they've got a really good connection with Sorsamangani. And
PK would be a little bit different in that sense. I mean, it was more like people would send their fighters to PK, and then PK will train them up completely. Then, and yeah, they'll fight. There'll be PK fighters in the corner, or PK trainers in the corner, and then PK will get some, out of it. The owner of the fighter will get something out of it. So that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, of course, money is being paid. No, nothing's for free in that sense.
Okay. But then, like you said, it's a good network.
But then there was a really weird story about that, happened not too long ago. I won't mention any names, but this is the story that I've read online. Somebody was looking after one of the fighters. You know what I mean? One of these fighters, not from his gym, but he's looking after it, training this person. And then when that person went to fight, he bet against that fighter who he was looking after. Next thing you know, that fighter takes a dive. That fighter accuses, the guy training him of telling him to dive. So it's a real mess.
It happens all the time. You know what?
It's the first case I've heard of that, where you've actually taken a fighter in to look after, and then you've bet against him.
Well, if you remember,
I'm sure it's not the first time it's happened. But anyways, in the modern times, that's the first time I heard of it.
Well, remember when Sia Boat from Pet Yindi Promotions started going after Muay, so fighters that would throw fights, and that is it Farwan Mai. Who got coaxed into was it him that got coaxed into it by that gambler?
He was fighting one of Francis's fighters that time. That's right. It was just an unfortunate, because for those that don't really know about Farwan Mai, he was a fighter before, young fighter. You see photos of him in 13 Coins training, and then. He would disappear for some time. I think it was the whole drugs and all this stuff. Don't quote me on the drugs, but
no. just because the thing is, you have like what I said earlier. You've got a very good connection between Western and Thai society.
Yeah.
How bad is because obviously like back home it's like drugs like whatever. But how bad is it in Thailand?
Pretty bad.
And what kind of drugs are we talking about?
Definitely yaba, ice.
Crystal meth, basically.
That kind of thing, and of course, it's so cheap these days as well out in the countryside. I mean, I talked to some fighters who are from the north. They'll tell me it could be about 20 baht per pill these days or less. I mean.
And the average wage for a Thai out here would be about, let's say about 300 baht a day, like 500, depending on what job you're doing.
I've seen people get 12,000 just working in factories, and I'm pretty sure it's less out in the country. So
you mean 12,000 a month?
Yeah,
12,000 baht a month.
Yeah.
So you could easily afford a couple of pills of yaba.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Back to Farwan Mai.
Yeah.
I got way a bit too depressing. Farwan Mai, anyways. It was. As I said, it's only 13 coins. Mm-hmm. Then he sort of got into, you see him taking photos of big name fighters, then he just sort of disappeared. And he came back into the news, or was made very famous in the news because he was gambling at Rungsit or something like that. And he didn't pay his gambling debt, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And he sort of ran away, and then all the gamblers caught him, and they rounded him up, and then what actually helped him out, and it would have been a good story, guy coming back, he was falling behind, he's disgraced or whatever. And Farwan Mai was doing quite all right, actually, when Seaport first put him in, doing great. But then all of a sudden, he took that dive, and of course, what can you do then?
But from what I was told by another friend of mine, James, Canadian James,
of course,
because he listens to Boat's live stream about it, and Boat was saying that Boat and his father basically saying that there was this guy, this gambler that brings in Thais and teaches them how to dive and says, look, you're going down in this round or whatever. That's from what I understand about it anyway.
Even I didn't know that. So
I can't remember his name. I think it was Udom Lee or something like that, because Boat called him out online and said, I
remember that.
I know who you are, and I'm looking for you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he went on the run. Yeah, just over like making far on my to make that dive, and it was on Boat's birthday show, which was even worse.
But the fact is, people don't get punished enough for telling fighters to take dive. Like sure, the police gets involved and nothing. I think the punishment is a bit. It's not harsh enough.
Just going back to commentary, so you were at Max, and then we had the pandemic, we had a bit of a delay, and then you've started working with me on LWC Super Champ this year, which has been brilliant.
Yeah, but before that, of course, when the pandemic came, I had to get a normal job.
Yeah.
What else can we do? So finally had to, so for the first time, I would say I fell back on my degree, Then I started working at Lamshabang Port. Great experience, believe me. Could I say I enjoyed it? I enjoyed having done it, is the best way to put it. So at least now for people who want to work into like a Thai working environment, I could sort of give some sort of advice. But of course that wasn't to last. But during that time, that's the first time I ever, I think it was before I worked in LWC, or was it after? What do I do first, Thai fight or LWC? I'm getting mixed up now.
It was LWC.
It was LWC with you in Bangkok, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we did one show there. Didn't go as well as planned. As in, we did great.
Oh right, you mean last year? Last year, that was it. Yeah.
I think I did Thai fight first then.
I can't remember, but
okay, I must have done Thai fight
because
first.
LWC, it started last year, and we did 2 shows.
Well, LWC is much more older than we think, but we started in LWC a bit later because they used to do the show after the 2 Kit Pet shows at Lumpini. If you remember that, you buy 1 ticket, I think it was 300 baht, you could watch the Lumpini, you could watch Lumpini, it was TKO, then Muay Thai Kit Pet, and then they had the LWC show after that.
Yeah, because I fought on it.
I remember
that was my last fight,
Yeah. Then, I think it did. Well, which direction should we go in? I mean, me doing Thai fight first or
whichever, we'll go whichever.
Because I do remember Thai fight very well. It was when I was still working in Lamshabang, and then I told Aaron, look, if Thai fight, if you ever need a commentator to come in, I'm here. You get what I mean? They say, yeah, sure. And apparently I was the only one telling him that, So then he said, yeah, sure. Then eventually the opportunity came because Thai fight used to have big shows on Saturdays. But then starting 2022, I believe it was, they started doing it on Sundays instead. Now that's difficult for people with day jobs, especially if you go long distances. So it was Thai fight in Lampang, and one of the commentators, I think it was Adam was his name, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he could make it because, it's just too long. You get what I mean? And then, so that's when Aaron called me, and so I took a day off work, and then decided on the Monday, then did the commentary on the Sunday in
Lampang.
And then I'd say the rest is history from there when it comes to Thai fight. But being in commentary, you get to work with a lot of great people. Just looking back now, we mentioned the LWC, we mentioned Max Muay Thai, we mentioned Thai fight. I've got to work with Rob Cox was the first one. Worked with John Walcott, who was actually meant to replace, because I came in and said, he said, John, who am I coming to replace? I thought I was getting excited to get to work with John now, And he said, you're replacing me. He's like, But at least I got to commentate with John a couple of times. Actually, at Max, Rajanan, and LWC just a couple of weeks ago. That was great. Yeah. Of course, Dorian Price. Yeah. How am I going to forget that? Great
color commentator.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. And very knowledgeable, because I think he had more experience than anybody else there when it came to the Muay Thai. But it wasn't really the Muay Thai really talked to him about really enough. It was like what happened in the UFC, because that's a completely different world for me. I don't even watch it, but it's quite fascinating. And you got to say, Dorian's accomplished a lot in the Muay Thai world, especially for someone born in the US. And then of course I worked with you. Yeah. And then I've worked with Matt Lucas as well. So quite a lot of people I've met at Max Muay Thai. And I believe just because of the good group of people, and that's what really kept me going in the Muay Thai itself.
And having your page and being so involved and so invested, really, because you're a Muay Thai fan through and through.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone to petty indie shows, like the big petty indie show a few weeks ago. That wasn't televised in Raja. We've gone all the way to Buriram to watch
in a day.
In a day.
Oh, that was a great night.
Yeah.
I mean, every single fight was a main event, and we get asked the same question all the time. You here for the MotoGP? No, we're here because for people that don't know, this big Buriram shows happened on the same weekend as the MotoGP shows. So we didn't come for the MotoGP. I don't know anything about MotoGP except for Valentino Rossi. That's about it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's my extent of MotoGP. I was there for the Muay Thai, and what a great card it was. We saw Muay Thai on the card taking on Ferrari.
Nung Lan Let for Kulabdam.
He won by KO in the third round with a knee. Yeah. We had Wan Chalong. I can't remember who he fought, but Wan Chalong was on the very first match. Keo Payak fought Chalam.
Okay.
Sangmani fought Rafi. I mean, this was a huge show.
Didn't Gauna fight
Super Leg,
and it was a draw? And
it shouldn't have been a draw.
It should have been a draw, and everybody went ballistic.
Because
Super Leg is from Buriram.
And if you don't believe we were there, I mean, we were on TV as well.
But so, you being such a fan of the sport, having Muay Thai results, has really helped your commentary, because there's been times when we've been calling fights and you'll just bring something up and I'm like, I didn't know that, and you've obviously known that because you've
just go out on a tangent.
But you're reading the Thai from the news, obviously reading the Muay Thai news from all the Muay Thai pages.
Right.
I mean, which ones do you really stick to and follow, and which ones do you like the most?
Which page do I like the most? Of course, there's always Mr. Bong's page. I quite enjoy that. Kapan Humnuam, I think that's the name of it. There's Odd KO's page. I quite like a lot. I'm sure you'll put it in the description somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And then I do like moysot.com. I think that's quite fun. Muay Jet Macau. There's a lot more. I can think Muay Siam. That's the OG. Yeah, quite a few pages. Muay Thai 2000 is also pretty good on the Facebook page. I haven't gone onto the website for a long time.
So where are you getting the most of your fight cards to put because you put the fight cards?
Depends which show it is. Sometimes I just go on these Scamber specific pages. There's one, I can't remember the names of it now. What is called Gob and something. I just remember the first letters of the page, but. They're very good when it comes to putting out, what's the former name of the fighters and who they fought last, so those gambling pages are very good with that. But when it comes to fight cards coming up next, it depends on what show it is. If it's a Kid Pet show that's coming up, they'll usually post 1 week or 2 weeks in advance saying, okay, this is what's happening on Channel 7, this is what's happening on TKO, this is what's going to happen at Watsam, that kind of thing, Same as Penyandi shows. There's a matchmaker, I believe his name is Kunat. He would post these fight cards first before anybody else. And if I have any other questions, then I ask Kunoi, that we Max Muay Thai, or Kunwan Kit is his real name. So yeah, it depends on the show. Sausamai, just go to Sausamai page and they'll post,
everything out there.
Yeah. So. It just really depends on the promotion, but if you don't know the promotion, then you don't know what may be coming up next. So that's just how it happens. Of course, with one championship or RWS, just go to their pages. It's simple as that.
And so compared to where you started with the sport, watching it as a fan, competing a bit, training, to what it is now, how do you feel? Because there's been a huge change. I mean, we talk about this quite a lot. Since the pandemic, all of the restrictions have been lifted.
Right.
Muay Thai started to come back, but it's changed a lot. We're more going down 3-round route. To be fair, in my opinion, I'm with it, but I'm also against it, and I think we're on the same page.
Of course, everything has its advantages, disadvantages. The thing that the pandemic thing changed was televised Muay Thai. A lot of the events in Lumpini and Rajananun on the weekdays, they were not televised at all. So there was no other way that you could watch it except on SMM TV afterwards, or Siam Sports or something like that, and you watch the highlights of what happened, and they could only show, was it 3 rounds or 3.5 rounds, something like this. So that's one thing it changed, but the main thing for me that it changed and is the atmospheres of this within the stadium. It's not the same as it used to be, I have to say, except when we went to watch that huge Penyandi show and the Muay show. We can't forget about the Muay show.
The Muay show was great last year.
I have to thank Kyle from Primo that he gave us free tickets for that, I believe it was. It's a fantastic show. And I believe the next big untelevised show is in December, right? at Rajanan.
You tell me, first I've heard of it.
That's what I'm hearing, okay? I'm not sure completely, but that's what I'm hearing from it. But yeah, that's the main thing it changed. The pandemic, that everything is now online, including a lot of the gambling.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see a lot of...
Can you talk more about that? Because obviously with the entertainment shows, you can do it for one, you can do it for other.
You can do it for a lot of shows, but it's just not what people do.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to explain. You know, with 5 rounds, you can really just play it throughout the whole match. You know, 3 rounds might end like this. So it's a big difference between 3 rounds and 5 rounds Muay Thai for sure.
And really, like with the 5-round Muay Thai, all of the people that are going to watch it and that are watching it really are gamblers.
Yes, gamblers and tourists. When it comes to the main 5-round shows, you know, except RWS or LWC or one, you know, no gamblers there, and within the stadium. But maybe for the bigger, you know, Payindi Raja shows or Rangsit shows or Otako shows, Jitmuna Stadium shows, yes, you'll definitely have a lot of gamblers there for the 5-round events. Speaking of which, I love Otako 3 Stadium.
I was just thinking the same thing.
It's, I don't know, I mean, if you really want to go through a Muay Thai tour and you've seen Lumpini, you've seen Rajadamnern Stadium, I'd suggest the next one to be Otako Jitmuna Stadium. I love that stadium a lot because you're really next to the ring, you know, and you really feel the atmosphere there, and it's quite you think a small area. You walk into there, you don't think much of it, you know, but my goodness, it's like Channel 7 when I walked in there for the first time. The atmosphere is amazing for such a small place, and Otako is a little bit bigger than Channel 7, I believe it is. Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Well,
I know.
But because everybody's just so cramped together in the stands.
Yeah, but it's not uncomfortable. That's the thing. Like you think you're packed and all that, yeah, but it's not uncomfortable at all. No, you feel fine being in Otako, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is good. I mean, I remember when I went to Channel 7 ages ago and I started, this is when I visited Ratchanon Gym.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go, I can't remember who was fighting. I think I just wanted to go, I just went. And I ended up, so one of the trainers from Ratchanon was pissed out of his skull at the show. And he was like,
As you do.
He was like, oh, Vichai, so Vichai's, for people that don't know, is the boss of Ratchanon when it was open. And he was like, Vichai's in the stands, like come and stand with him. And in Channel 7 back in the day, it was like a square really. So there was a section just for the foreigners, and then all the other 3 stands were just for Thais.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm getting like basically thrown into the stands with Vichai, who's got a little piece of paper with a friend, and they're just gambling back and forth. Someone gave me some money to like pass up to a gambler that he lost a bet to. It was so surreal, and I really miss it. I really miss that.
And till this day, Channel 7 is still closed to outsiders, which is quite sad in a way, because I really enjoyed being there. And quite honestly, I enjoyed a lot more on TV when there was people there, and you know, just created the atmosphere and made, in my opinion, the fights a lot better.
Yeah, COVID really did kill it. And
I think so.
It's literally one of those stadiums where if you want to go from one side of the stadium to the other,
don't get me wrong, the views are still great, but you just get sort of nostalgic, you know, for those times. And I have a friend called At, you know, he's one of the sponsors there at Channel 7, so I would sit right next to him each time, and everyone would keep writing to me, hey, look at this guy, VIP. But it's a great stadium to be in, and I hope they open up quite soon, because I miss it, quite frankly. I really miss being in there.
I don't think it's ever going to go back to what it was though, where you're literally packing people in. I don't think it will.
With more fire exits, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that would help.
But that was, you know, that's one of the things I really miss. Besides for the old Lumpini, of course, the original Lumpini. I don't say old, I say original. You know. But then again, you know, I think back to what may have been of it today, you know, would we really have one Lumpini shows there, you know, if it was still the original Lumpini? I don't
think so.
I mean, me neither, and I've asked people the same question, you know, so maybe it may be for the better, but at least the memory is still fresh in here, you know what I mean?
So, you still, like when you do the results, are you still watching the fight? Are you still watching
Not all. No way.
No?
Oh, with all the events that's happening every single week, there's no way I could catch every single show, especially on Monday and Wednesday. I watch some of the fights back afterwards, you know. As you know, I've started jiu-jitsu now, and I just really have time for it Monday and Tuesday nights. No, Monday and Wednesday nights. And sometimes I miss most of the Muay Thai, but I do go back to watch the main events that happen, yeah. And if there's a knockout, I watch every single one, you know, that it posts, you know, just to see what sort of knockout it is. And of course, if there's a no contest, then I go back to.
You want to know why?
Yeah. So
you get the right result for everybody.
Exactly.
That follows your page.
Like for those that don't know, like in Thailand, people get confused with this all the time. The difference between a KO and a TKO, what is it? A TKO is when the referee doesn't count to 10. KO is when the referee does count to 10. So that's why you can see someone completely knocked out and he's down, referee only counts up to 3 and he says, I finished, that is a TKO, and everyone keeps saying, yeah. But for those that don't know, a TKO in Thailand, it's basically just because the referee did not count up to 10.
Okay.
That's about it. Now, I work differently on Muay Thai results. You know, I do it the Western sort of way so people can understand more. For example, if someone gets his lights shut out, you know, then I just put it down as a KO. Mm-hmm. But if he's standing up and, you know, and still kind of surviving, still on his feet, but the referee calls it off, then I call it a TKO, or a cut I put as I'll say TKO, then put in brackets, cut, doctor stoppage, what have you.
If you've seen the fight, basically, if you have enough time to watch.
But I always watch it if it's stopped. Mm-hmm. If the fight stopped for whatever reason, I always watch that. So that's one thing I'm up to date with, at least, you know, if I don't watch the fights. But it's not easy to follow, as you know, especially on weekends. Like right now, what's the time now? Channel 7's on right now. you get what I mean? Like I want to spend time doing other things too, besides just glued into my TV, especially on the weekend.
Yeah. And
later on today, I'm doing Thai Fight League on commentary, you know? So I can't spend the whole day just binging on Muay Thai, you know? You got to live somehow, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. Sometimes you need a break.
Exactly.
But just, what is your, like, how do you feel about, because we're seeing a lot of 3-round Muay Thai now.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of the transition of the Muay Thai scene at the moment, especially in Thailand?
It has to happen.
Thoughts?
It just has to happen. Of course, we grew up loving the old school style, the traditional style, of course. And I really fell in love with it because of the atmosphere that's created in the stands, you know, during these 5-round fights, you know, in Rajadamnern, Lumpini, what have you. But it just doesn't pull people in, and that's a fact. Because when people hear, oh, it's a Muay Thai fight, they think they're going to brawl at each other like it's crazy. And of course, when you're in school in Thailand, they're taught about which Muay Thai moves exist, and of course these are Muay Boran moves, you know. So you got spinning heel kick to the head, you got double elbow drops, you know, not elbow drops, flying elbow drops, right, yeah. So you think about these moves, you get what I mean? Now the average person who would turn on the TV and then sort of see, well, 2 people not doing much for runs number 1 and 2, they'd be oddly confused. They'll think, this isn't fun. Why am I watching this? Mm-hmm. However, you turn on a 3-round fight, they start fighting for the first rounds. It's like they'll think there's more. There's what I'm looking for, you know. So I think that's exactly why Muay Thai is just changing. It's for the viewers, you know.
And what do you think about? There's a lot of Thais, like for example, Magnum, he's now Magnum Sorsamai, or he was Magnum Bangkok Alayon. I really liked him. I really like him.
Likewise.
And he had a rematch against Chai Soso Doibadaru on One Lumpini.
Right.
And I called it. I think I was either talking to you or talking to somebody. I was like, Chai's going to win this, because if Chai just goes forward and fights Magnum, he's going to knock him out, because Magnum's got a low guard. Magnum is more of a, because that's where the 3-round, a lot of Thais have really, in my opinion, and I think you agree, have really struggled with the transition from fighting 5 rounds to fighting a faster 3-round fight, especially on One Lumpini with smaller gloves. Definitely. I mean, some of them it's really worked out for them, like Petsukanvit, Rod Tang, Jiao Siyai.
But Rod Tang, I think it just suits him, that style. It's always suited, but you know, someone like Super Leg, you see him sort of changing, kind of, you know. He's still doing his heavy kicks, but you know, now we're seeing more hands from him, now we're seeing more forward movement, so that's quite interesting. It's going to take some time, for sure, to change the style, but we see a lot more punches now. That's for sure. But for me, you know, and being all nostalgic again, there's nothing more beautiful than seeing a Muay Thai move fighter sweep an advancing Muay Cow, you know?
Yeah.
You kind of miss that. You kind of missing the clash of styles. You know, whether it's Muay Thai move versus Muay Thai move, or Muay Mat versus a Muay Cow. On the highest level, it's not as much as it used to be. Obviously, you still have obviously the Penny D shows, but now, of course, what more people are looking forward to is definitely the Friday night shows. That's one show I believe that I just don't miss every single week, because one thing as well is that social media love it. Whenever I post something about, let's say, one championship, one Lumpini, or it gets a lot more attention than if I were to post something happening in a 5-round event somewhere. You know, no matter how good the fighter is. You get what I mean?
And how do the Thais, like, because obviously you speak to a lot of the Thais that we've mentioned before, that are in the press, that are in the news. You speak to them quite regularly.
Yeah.
And how does everybody feel about it? Are they all for it? Are
Definitely.
they all for it? Because it's pretty much...
Definitely, because at the end of the day, what matters is the fighters, right? When you see them getting the bonuses and see the smile on their faces,
it's brilliant.
It's nothing better than that, you know. I remember in the beginning when no one really sort of understood the whole bonus thing, you know. When Seksan, you know, it says $50,000, and then he's just looking at that. You finally got to translate it. Then he gets really, really happy, you know.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, that's one person who I'm very, 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 very happy for, and that's Seksan. You know, seeing him able to save up this money now and able to fight all the time, and I've never seen him this happy in a long time. You know, I haven't talked to him about it, or nothing like that, but you just see it, you know, and you talk to people who know him too, and they say, oh my gosh,
he's a nice guy. He's definitely got a heart of gold. You'd never think it from looking at him and like being like, oh wow, he's a proper aggressive when he fights, but he's proper nice. He's a really nice guy.
I mean, my brother, for example, he's not a big Muay Thai fan or nothing, but when Seksan fights, he has to watch it. You get what I mean? That's just how great he is. But yeah, the more time goes on, I believe it's going to be a lot more 3-round Muay Thai we see in the future. Gambling in Muay Thai will never die. I don't think so. 5-round Muay Thai will always be there, and one way or another.
Like what we talked about earlier on when we started the podcast, like where we first started, like with our fights, like the Muay Watch shows and the festival shows. Are they still going in Pattaya? Are they still going on in Thailand?
In Pattaya, well, the main person who's doing the shows now, it's Ramba. You know, Ramba Ramba MTExp. He's still doing shows in Pattaya. But besides that, the scene is very not as big as it used to be. That's the best way to put it. Of course, we used to have a lot of 10% shows and what's the other show? CM Boxing World shows.
Yep.
And then later on came Max Muay Thai, and that was basically all of Muay Thai in Pattaya besides for the Ramba shows and one other promoter. I can't remember the name on the top of my head now, so you got to excuse me for that. But then now it's Max Muay Thai still has shows every day. But non-televised or anything like that.
But so because Teprasit is a stadium, Muay Siam World is a Boxing World.
Pattaya Boxing World. There we go.
Whatever it's called. It's
Mini Siam. Yeah. We're gonna call it that.
Stadium, Max Muay Thai is a stadium, but there's no...
JF, they also have a...
JF as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Nong Not is still doing shows.
But is there anywhere in Pattaya or in Chonburi province where they'll just have a festival and they'll put fights on there?
Definitely.
Like they used to do in the...
Definitely,
that's where,
but not as much. Quite interestingly, it's the bar shows. That's where you find the youngsters in Pattaya now, you know?
Talk about that, because a lot of people wouldn't understand what...
No, a lot of people wouldn't understand, but... So out in the country, it's usually, you know, what festivals, right? Whether in Buriram, southern Thailand, Udon, so on and so forth. But in Pattaya, a lot of people made their names from fighting in these bars. Like, you know, sometimes you walk past the bar, you see kids competing, right? You don't think much of it. It's just low level. You ask PTT, you ask the One Chai, you ask Ramba, you ask Kruot, you know, Sansuk Parungsawat for those that need to know. You ask Sinsamul, you ask Sutsakorn. They've all fought in bar shows, you know? A lot of the kids actually fight in bars. You know, the typical, here's a bar, there's a ring. Kids fight, ask the tourists, have some money. Yeah, that kind of show.
And are there Thais gambling on it as well at the same time? No, it's just experience.
Yeah. And a lot of fighters have come from there. Just ask any fighter who was in Pattaya. Any one of them. And we saw Yot PT last night. We saw Sinsamut last night too. Everyone's come from there. You know, like people are sort of ashamed to talk about it, but it's a fact. Don't overlook bar kid fighters. Back in the day, how it was like, I won't name the bars, but you'll get what I mean, right? You'll start off in this bar here. You do a fight there. At the same night, you walk to the next bar.
And have another fight.
And then you have another fight there. And then you would walk to the next bar. Then another fight. Get some more money from the...
But, because these are like actual, so these are bars that actually have boxing rings,
Yes.
actually have gloves, and they have referees, and they have judges as well.
And they have the typical tourist sitting there.
Yeah.
And maybe he's got like one of these bar ladies there joining him or what have you. Not judging, it's your preference. But that's just but that's just the way it was. You know, that's the way I don't believe it's as big as it was before, but you know, a lot of people have to have their first fights in the bars, yes.
Okay, that's an interesting concept.
Especially, not sure if it's still open. I haven't been there since the pandemic, but in the beginning of Walking Street, there's a bar just in front of there, and not the Bali High side, but the Pattaya Beach Road side.
I know. I know it well.
That's
where I start off when I go to Walking Street.
Well, that's where a lot of fighters start their careers as well. So, yeah, I guess you have two choices at the beginning of Walking Street. You either take that road or you go into that ring.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Well, hopefully it can. Well, what I'm trying to get at is, I've seen a lot of promotions come up in the last year. There's a lot of 3-round fights. I mean, obviously we do LWC, we've got Thai Fight League. Thai Fight League is quite niche though, because most of it's card shirk.
I love Thai Fight League. I mean, it's the reason why I love it so much is because it's how you just don't expect some of the things to happen. It's so unexpected. You get what I mean? Like, so the whole concept is Thai Fight itself gets fighters from the provinces, so they don't really have a name in Thailand at all. They might be local heroes in the provinces, but they're not big fighters, you know. So Thai Fight decided, hey, let's take these fighters, put them in the ring here in Bangkok, give them card shirk, and try to find the next person who would get into the Thai Fight team, you know. These days, of course, not as easy as it was past. You've got a lot of contracted fighters, so of course you still have to try to find a way to look for fighters, and that's how Thai Fight has decided to do it now. And it is fantastic. I mean, there are 3 Kachik tournaments in 3 different weight classes at the moment, maybe 4. And the Isuzu Cup tournament now is, of course, on Thai Fight League at Bitech, you know. And expect the unexpected is the best way to say it. I've seen many things for the first time on Thai Fight League. There's not an advertisement or anything, but I literally enjoy this show. Because, quite frankly, some of the Muay Thai these days, it's quite expected. You know what to expect. You watch a 5-round fight, okay, you know round 1 and 2 is going to be like this, round 3, they're going to start pushing it, round 5, okay. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
But Thai Fight League, it's the most... you never know what to expect there, you know? I mean, it's always good, but you never know what's going to happen. You know, expect the unexpected is what I always say in the commentary there, you know? Okay.
Just going back to my point, there's been a lot of change, and I'm kind of for it, and I'm kind of against it at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that we don't lose the grassroots temple festivals, the bar fights.
I don't think we will ever. The temple fairs will always keep going, because you're not going to bring a fighter to fight in Bangkok for the first time. You get what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
No, because touch on that. How does it work? So how did, for example, Tuanchai, how did he make his way all the way from Pattaya to Bangkok?
I'm not going to use just Tuanchai as an example. I'm just going to say in general, okay? Because I can't exactly speak for Tuanchai and how he went through his career. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Best thing I can say is that he grew up fighting in Pattaya, fought in Petrungrung, and then moved to PK, and now he's a star. That's the basics of what I could do for that one. But for a lot of other fighters, basically, you start up maybe in your own village. You train with your dad. You're training with your a gym there, or what have you. You get to fight these shows, you get to temple fights, and then eventually you start fighting cross province, you know, because the promoter likes you. You start getting older, perhaps one day you get bought by a big gym in Bangkok. Okay, time to move to Bangkok, and you get to fight in these big promotions because the gym is maybe associated to these big promotions, you know, like how Pet Yindi is, how Get Pet is, you know, how Salsa Muay is. You fight through that circuit, and so on and so forth.
Okay. And then a lot of these gyms, they obviously have connections, they have scouts to the provinces.
Yeah,
and they normally get people that will tip them off, or they're normally a friend.
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat like that.
Somewhat like that, yeah. But it's the case for most people. You become big in the provinces somehow, or then you make it to the big gym in Bangkok. Okay. But of course, in the golden era age, you know, like a lot of people literally just stayed in the provinces, you know, because they could. Like
Superlex or Isan, just stayed in Ubon.
Yeah, or even in more modern times, Pattaya stayed in Surin basically as long as he could.
Yeah.
Until now moving to Pet Yindi. But that's kind of dying right now, isn't it? Having the big gyms in the provinces. Of course, we still have the exception.
Gitmugao, but then
Superlex Muay Thai.
Isn't Superlex training at
probably
Yokkao?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that everything's just in Bangkok. Can you blame anyone for moving here instead? No, everything is here. The best universities, the best malls, where you get all your stuff. You know, it's all in Bangkok. So why wouldn't you want to move here? You know, and all the big stadiums, the big shows, Bangkok or somewhere close by. Can't name that much TV shows that are actually not in Bangkok, or at least the Bangkok metropolitan area.
So pretty optimistic on the sport then for the future. You're optimistic about it.
I'd like to stay optimistic in the future for Muay Thai. I had to slow down a little bit there, see if I made any mistakes, but no, I'm quite optimistic. But definitely Muay Thai is going to change a little bit. But I think the biggest change will be that we won't have gambling at the highest level in Muay Thai anymore. Which is a good thing, really, let's be honest. It is a good thing. 50-50, depends on, because the styles also change. The styles also change. Of course, we still have it to this day. Some promotions, they still are on that side of things, and I think great, you know, more options for us. But more and more the fighters are going to start to want to fight more of this 3-round kind of style, especially if the money is there, you know. Wherever the money is, that's where it will be, you know. And we both know who has the money right now. You get what I mean?
Yeah, we do. No, we do.
So it's just the way it is, and everyone wants to make a living. Everyone wants a good life. Everyone wants to provide for their family and themselves, you know. So it only makes sense. But three-round Muay Thai will be more and more famous. 5-round Muay Thai, I believe, will always exist one way or another. Gambling will always exist, but maybe not at the highest level, but it will always exist.
But 3-round Muay Thai, what you're trying to say is really bringing in a lot more eyes to the sport, really bringing in a lot more attention.
Of course, not just in Thailand, but all over the world. You know, I mean, I don't think Muay Thai is as global before as it is now. It's as global as it's ever been. You've got people in the US who know who Tuan Chai is, who Rotang is, you know, and I'd say Rotang's a new face of Muay Thai.
I'd say those two, Rotang and Tuan Chai, are the Sanchai and Buakaw of this generation.
Sanchai, Buakaw, yeah.
Obviously
depends who wins between Superlex and Rotang. but you're right.
Not trying to. Obviously, they're both different styles compared to Buakaw and Sanchai, but just the way that the following that they have, and you know, they're just the way that they can attract people. Like Superlex and Rod, we're 2 weeks away from Superlex Rodtang, and that's sold out.
And I'm going to go there.
Yeah, same. I'm going as well.
Not Sinsamut though. That's a little joke from last night. Basically, long story short, we met Sinsamut at Lumpini Stadium, and then he says, "I'm definitely going to the 22nd." I say, "Have you got your ticket yet?" Sinsamut is like, "No, but of course they're always going to let me in." "No, it's sold out, completely sold out. They won't let you in."
And the reason why Kevin knows Sinsamut so well is because Sinsamut is from Pattaya. It's from Chonburi.
That's right.
It's from the Chonburi connection.
It's from the same clan as Ramba and Sutsakorn, of course Sinsamut.
Muay Thai family.
I think that family has 3 Muay Thai gyms in Pattaya at the moment. It's going to be Sutsakorn gym, Ramba's gym, and Sok and Me. Yeah.
That's mad.
I could be missing one more, but yeah.
Just put you on the spot here. Who have you got between Superlex and Rodtang, and why?
I've always said Superlex. if you match up their strength, I think Super Leg has more. I think he's the more faster fighter. He's got the better kicks, possibly the better elbows. Of course, I'll give Rotang the punch department. I give him in the chin department. I'll give him the power department. But when it comes to IQ, I think Super Leg is better in that case as well. So I think Super Leg's just that much better than Rotang. Don't think they'll clinch too much, so don't consider that too much, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
But I think Super Leg is going to get it done. And pretty sure people online, if Super Leg doesn't get it done, gets his lights knocked out, I'm pretty sure they'll be saying "told you so" to me later on. But anyways, I'm sticking to my guns and going for Super Leg for this one.
I agree. I think Super Leg could he's just more well-rounded and a bit better IQ, but like you said, Rotang, he's the better puncher and more of the aggressor. But let's see. I can't wait.
Yeah, and he's fought at the highest. Super Leg has fought at the higher level longer than Rotang has. Not to say that Rotang is not a good fighter, because obviously that's not true. He's a fantastic, phenomenal fighter. That's why he's the face of Muay Thai right now. But I just think Super Leg is better, and it's the only travesty of all this is that they haven't fought earlier at all. Because we were thinking back then they should have fought already. Everyone was saying it even before we had one Lumpini. Or one championship starting Muay Thai. Everyone said, they should have fought ages ago.
We've been wanting this fight. Well, we've talked about it a lot, and then Muay Thai fans in general have wanted this fight for ages. And
exactly.
In 2 weeks' time, it's going to be brilliant.
And I really can't wait. I don't think I've been excited for a fight like this in a long time, and I think the rest of the time is the same. And it just shows why. They sold out, I didn't expect that one bit. I didn't expect that at all, quite frankly.
So just to wrap this up, what's the plans for yourself and for Muay Thai results in the future? Anything?
Just keep doing it. I have no plans. I don't take sponsors. I don't take money from it. I just want it. It's kind of selfish to say, but I do Muay Thai results for me, and of course for people who follow. I get a lot of opportunities because of Muay Thai results. I wouldn't have been a commentator if it wasn't for that. And one of the great things about it is just when people come up to you, come up to me and just say hello, oh, you're a guy from Muay Thai Results, or my Twitter is Muay Thai Chai, hey, you're the guy from Muay Thai Chai, I'm quite happy to talk with anybody at all, so I'll just keep it going as long as it still makes me happy, you know what I mean? And as long as people still enjoy it. The day when people don't enjoy it no more, then maybe I'll just stop it, but so far I'm having a good time with it, so just keep it going.
Well, it's a great page.
Thank you very much.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on today. I think it's good to get your face in. Everyone can sort of associate, if they see you at Thai Fight League or see you at a show, see you at One MP, but thanks for
exactly. If you see me at LWC or you see me, somewhere around one championship at Lumpini Stadium, or you see me in any other Muay Thai shows, just say hello.
I have another plan for the two of us, more of a retirement plan.
Jesus.
I can see the two of us being in the stadiums gambling our pensions on the 3 or the 5 round fights, trying to take bets off the tourists.
I just see myself just coming. I actually spoke to another person today. It's more of a joke, but it's quite a funny imagery. Me arriving to maybe one of the big stadiums. Me on the wheelchair, car comes out. Having a nurse roll me into the stadium, I'll just be front row like that.
Still doing the results on your iPad.
Probably, but that'd be fun, If I think even. This is way long in the future, but who knows? I'll probably still be in the Muay Thai somehow,
Yeah, I don't think I'm definitely not going anywhere. It's definitely something that I'm super passionate about, and so I'm so fortunate that I get to do. I get to do a podcast with you about it. We got to commentate yesterday. I've got to MC at Raja on Friday.
Yeah, of course.
It's been awesome.
I just like to be in and around Muay Thai all the time. It's some sort of high. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a great feeling.
Passion, man. It's passion.
Yeah,
it's passion.
And of course, we had so much stars at Lumpini last night. We had one the girl, Super Girl there. The gentleman that fights on Road to UFC. I forget his name on top of my head now.
Yeah, I know who you mean. He's half Thai as well.
Is he?
I think he is. The road. Is it a fight that you're talking about?
He came with Super Girl yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was half Thai.
I think he is half Thai.
Yeah. Then we got Sinsenwood, of course, Savas. Great chatting with him last night, and just a lot of people within the Muay Thai circle.
Pet Pailin was there from Sing Patong Sitnam Noi, he was cornering.
And I saw you talking to Rung Rod quite a lot.
Yeah.
No one talks to Rung Rod.
Yeah, no one talks about that.
Because he doesn't talk to no one. He's a great guy, but
very grumpy. Anyway, Kev, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. If anybody wants to follow you, so obviously Muay Thai Results will be tagged, and then you've also got Twitter.
Please follow Muay Thai Results if you want to keep up to date with Muay Thai within the Thai circuit. Then I got Muay Thai Chai on Twitter. That's more of my personal opinions and just whatever I want to type, but that's more me. Muay Thai Results is more mechanic, if you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. Just results, updating what my fights having next. Muay Thai Chai is more of myself. Maybe I've had, I don't know, a glass or two and then just decided to just tweet out whatever, when I feel about Muay Thai. And and if you're ever here, I'm commentating at Lumpini Stadium every Saturday night on LWC Super Champ, and Sunday on Thai Fight League at Baitek Bang Na. So those are all the ways you could find me somehow. Please make sure you're not assassins, all right?
Okay, mate, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, no worries.